Institute. I waggled my fingers in the air, trying to make eye contact with the bartender. He had a lumberjack beard and a tattoo of a bicycle on his neck. Hot hippie heaven. He caught my stare and smiled, lifting his large hand in a gesture of patience. Those hands would feel good around my waist, or palming my breasts. I bet he preferred the lights on, the amber beads around his neck tracing a seductive line down my abdomen as he settled his scruffy face between my legs. He was a giver, you could tell. The next day, he would make me vegan pancakes with a side of kale and tofu scramble. My stomach rumbled, and I realized I hadn't eaten that day. Kale? Tofu? Didn't matter. Nothing tasted good anymore. Since the day I left Finn in that tower, all I wanted was the burn of whiskey on my tongue and a random warm body to replace the ache he left behind. I gripped the edge of the bar, a plan forming in my head about the most tactful way to ask the bartender when he would get off work. I turned to Erica. I'm done with Celtic studies. No jobs there anyway. I cupped my hand on the top of my shot glass, creating suction before letting it clatter back to the bar. I want to find out more about my mom. Like figuring out which hidden dimension she's holed up in. Night after night for the past month, I threw my energy out into the world, searching desperately through the astral plane for her spirit. I knew she still lived, but she certainly didn't exist in this reality. She traced a snowflake design in the condensation on her pint glass. Do you think you'll go to Ireland? Flashes of my last trip to Ireland flooded my brain. Carol Ann's death, Amergen's prisoner, my marriage to Bresh. My throat tightened and a shudder of anxiety rushed through me. My hands gripped tight around the shot glass, and I thumped it on the bar, beating a sharp tattoo in rhythm with a psychedelic furs song. I had to get a hold of myself. I spied the bartender on the other end of the bar, now lost in conversation with a manic pixie dream girl, her gossamer maxi dress billowing around her bar stool in light green waves. Who the hell wears a maxi dress in a goddamn blizzard? She threw back her head and laughed at a joke the bartender made. They snickered, their heads almost knocking together. I raised my hand to grab his attention. Excuse me. The hipster looked up with a slight eye roll before returning with the bottle. You sure you don't want to switch to something lighter, sweetheart? You sure you don't want to mind your own business? I slapped a $5 bill on the bar. Sweetheart? He poured the liquor and moved on, crumpling the money in his hand. I laughed to myself, saluting the back of my would-be boy toy for the evening. Erica eyed me nervously. I gave her a bright, placating smile. Sure, maybe Ireland. We'll see. Erica's fiancé, John, came back from the bathroom, and he brushed her arm and whispered something in her ear with a kiss. Then, turning to me, he grinned, flashing a pair of dimples in his all-star quarterback face. Cheers to you, Elizabeth, for having the good sense to get out of graduate school while you still can. I laughed, and we clinked our glasses. Throwing back the shot, I let out a spluttering gasp as the liquor stole my breath. Swallowing hard, I closed my eyes, letting the warmth bloom in my belly. When I opened my eyes again, it took a moment for the room to stop spinning. Blinking rapidly, I peered into the speckled mirror behind the bar. Through the pulsing shadows and shifting lights, a pair of steely eyes bore right through me. My heartbeat raced, a spark of longing taking flame deep in my core. I slammed my glass and whirled around. Finn? I scanned the faces in the boiling mess of dancing forms, distorted and ghoulish in the black lights. I leaned against the bar, rubbing my forehead. Maybe it was a trick of the light. My subconscious piecing together his face because it was the only face I wanted to see in the reflection. I stared through the crowd, emptiness eating away my insides like napalm. The phantom ache seeped into my veins and down my arms, my hands clenching with the desire to touch Finn's smooth skin, run my hands through his silky hair. Instinctively, my hand slipped inside my coat pocket,